Oh my
I'm trying not to
god.
start this episode laughing. Mission Impossible, like what?
Yeah, literally Tom Cruise who? I'm give us two black girls instead. That would have made that whole movie
Literally,
enterprise 10 times
literally,
better.
literally. But my toxic trait is literally scouring the internet for the exact edition of a book I want. Like, I would not settle for less.
See, I wish I'm simply not. Like listen, I have my own little bookish quirks where like some books I'm like, no, I need the physical. Like I don't want to read it on the ebook. I don't want to listen to it. Like I need the physical.
Exactly.
And then some I'm like, I don't really want a physical copy. Like let me read the ebook first, see how I feel about
Yeah.
it. And then another thing is I can't listen to audiobooks if they're read in like the Western American accent.
Bro.
Like I used to think for the longest time, I was like, maybe I'm not an audiobook girl
Me,
because I love
literally
romance
me.
and
Literally
I
my
don't like
dilemma right
romance
now.
audiobooks. Yeah, I was just like, but epic fantasies, if they're said in any other accent that's not the regular American accent,
Girl, I'm
that's
telling you, that's why I ate up Talia Hibbert's audiobooks because all of them are in like British accents.
okay. So maybe I'll give it a
You need to
try.
get on that ASAP. Hold on. Let me get my pride and joy, baby. This book changed romance for me. I'm telling you, like literally favorite romance book of all time.
Is he the one who you said is like Raoul? Like,
Yes, but Dani is like more emotionally available than Jasmine.
okay, good. That seems like my kind of book, you know?
Yes, like it's giving boy
Woo.
says
I got it. Is that the third one or the second one?
second one, but it's like
Okay, good.
interconnected standalones.
Yeah, I read the first one. I've read Chloe Brown, and I have that one, but I haven't read Dani. That's the kind of series where I'm like, no, I need the physical.
You need
I don't want to read the
you
ebook. I
need the
need the
physical.
physical.
I will have to 100% agree with you. It
Yeah, I
only
need the
gets better
physical.
from Chloe Brown. Dani Brown is good. I'm Eve Brown may be my favorite, but you're pushing it because I love Dani.
My friend, do you know Jules, a romantic reader on
Do I?
TikTok?
Let me see her. Let me look her up real quick.
He is always like, I love Eve Brown. Like, I identify with her so hard because she's like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know where I want to go. Like, what's going to go on.
Yes. Oh yes, I do know her. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, I see them on my page all the time.
She loves Eve
See, I,
Brown.
I like Dani Brown because abandonment trauma.
I feel it. I feel it. You see, that's the problem with. Okay, first of all, people, this is the book we're talking about. Okay,
Yep, that's the book we've read, guys. That's what we're actually supposed to be talking about.
this is the book we buddy read.
This is the book we're currently buddy reading now. Let us know if you want a little episode on that.
There you go. There you go. Okay, cool. We did our due diligence. Now back to the yapping. Okay,
Right.
so like, okay, the roommate risk, right? Listen, Raoul,
Like, scrumptious.
scrum diddlyumptious, if I will. Like, I
I,
fear no man can live up.
no, Zephyr can.
You can. Okay. All right. All right. I
When
gotta
I
read it. I
say
gotta put it on my list.
this was one of the first romance books I've read. I've been reading romance for like 3 years ever since I read this book. No man has lived up to this man. No man has lived up to this man. Yeah.
There was just something about Talia Hibbert's men.
It's something
Like,
about them, bro.
like the way she writes them. You know what I've been realizing too? This is like kind of off topic, but like on topic. I've been reading some romance books recently where I'm like, as a female author, why would you write
Like,
this man
girl, like them
with
men be
this
hating
girl?
them women low key.
Yeah, I'm like,
I
you are
hate
like
you.
violating these women. Why would you ever make her end up with him?
Cause like, y'all, them men be so trash. I be like, and then my toxic trait, if I don't like a man in a romance book, I'm closing the romance.
I'm done. You know, most recent book that I DNF that my book club was reading, what's it called? Raiders of the Lost Heart by Joe Segura. Ford, the man.
Closing the book. God bless.
I literally got like 30 pages into the book. I usually don't DNF that quick. You know, I give it some time.
Yeah.
But every single POV of he's this little blonde white man, which immediately, I'm not a blonde white man kind of gal in books. That's my toxic trait. I'm sorry about it. There's only a few that I love.
Queen, I'm on board with you, Queen. I be like, you.
There's only a few that I'm like, okay, you know, you got it. Like Bo from Out on a Limb, Bo Durant. That's
Girl,
my child. I literally love him.
Speaking of, I'm telling you, like, black romance books, the description of a black guy in a romance book, it's gonna do it for me every time. What am I reading right now? I'm reading Tia Williams' new book and I'm vlogging it because...
Is it good?
Girl. Like,
okay, that's it. That's the review. Girl. Heard ya.
Girl.
Heard ya.
Let me show you the cover. Like, he is like, it's like magical realism, so it's romance, but it's heavy on the magical realism because he's like, the word they use for him is a perennial, where it's like he was cursed. So he's kind of a time traveler in a sense, but he's been living for a long time. It's just a whole dilemma going down. But I'm like,
wait, I didn't know it was magical realism. I thought it was just like contemporary romance. This is Love Song for Ricki? Ricki,
yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
It is so whimsical, and it's making it like 10 times more intriguing. Can y'all see that?
I can see it. Oh, my man.
Girl. I wait till you see these clips of me first getting introduced to him. I'm like, I'm clutching my pearls. I'm shrugging my cardigan together. I'm like, what's happening there? Bro, please.
Wait, I just finished reading, what's it called? Because Kennedy Ryan be describing those men too. Like the ones from the Skyland series. Judah? Is his name Judah? I haven't even read Real yet. Is it good? Everyone loves it.
Girl, I've read some other Kennedy Ryan. This is the Kennedy Ryan. Like,
that's what everyone says.
It's so underhyped. I feel like we're not talking about it enough.
Okay, I'm gonna try. Please, not me coming on this call just getting more books that I have to buy.
Literally.
My God.
Girl.
Please, I need to stop.
Mom, and this is the reason why I'm reading Ricki Wilde, because my mom told me to read this book, and, like, it changed my life. And she was the one that told me to read Love Song for Ricki Wilde, too. So I'm like, you know what, Mom? You know what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about.
See, my mom reads, like, economics books. Like, she just reads books about finance.
See, my mom is like that, too. And she will read a romance book like every blue moon, and the ones that she recommends are like earth-shattering, groundbreaking books. So you're like, Mom, you need to read more romance, baby, because apparently you know what you're talking about.
I don't think my mom would ever. Oh my God, I'm gonna see if I can try to get her to read one. It'll take years. It'll probably take a year to finish the book. Please. But I just read When I Think of You by Maya Ariel, and it comes out in April.
Oh, that's the one you texted me about?
Girl. Listen. Okay, because he's mixed. The guy in the story, he's mixed. But he's a Nepo baby. Like, his dad is white and his mom is black, okay? And his dad is, like, a really big producer. And so he got into, like, the movie, film industry, like, pretty easily, especially because he's a man and because his dad is, like, big. But he's still black, you know? He's still black, so life is, like, a little hard for him, you know?
Yeah.
But the girl he's in love with, she's a black woman. And she is, like, not getting as far in the, movie, film industry as she wants to. And he's like, why are you giving up on your dreams? Why are you And she's like... And she checks his privilege every time. And I said, every time he would talk, I'd be like, girl, don't let him talk to you like that. And then the next line, she's like, And I was like, yes. I was like, yes. Not once did she back down. I said, yes, Miss Ma'am. And he every time he was like, yeah, I'm being an ass. Yes, you are. Please, I love that. I cannot wait for that book to come out.
Have you read the Bromance book club series?
I have not. Is it good? It's
Sera,
good.
Sera, I'm gonna like make you go broke, girl. I'm so sorry. I'm like pulling off every book.
The problem is the first podcast I ever heard of yours was you talking about these series.
Girl, get this camera off me. Like when I say this series was so good, this is my favorite romance book series other than the Bromance book, the Brown sisters. Other than the Brown sister. Excuse me, Dad, not right now.
I'm talking with the girls. I'm chitting and I'm chatting.
I'm talking to the girlies right now. Let's postpone this conversation till another day, Dad. Thank you.
Let's put a pin in it. We'll circle back.
Right. But it's like, it's a romance series, heavy romance, but it's like also it's a group of guys in this romance book club. Okay. So they're like baseball players and businessmen, like all these high class guys in this group and book club where they strictly read romance books to fix their relationships. And it's like dismantling toxic masculinity and like getting to the nitty gritty, and like it covers some of the Me Too movement and them like taking down this one guy who was like harassing one of his employees. Chef's kiss, girl. And then book 2 sounds exactly like that one, where the girl is like, watch your mouth talking to me, and he's not used to that. He's not used to that. It's so good.
Okay. Dang it, Lani. Why you gotta do this to me, man? Come on now. Girl. Fine. Next time, I'm doing this thing where I'm like trying to like work on my book buying issues. And one of the things I'm doing is like I have to read a certain amount of books before I can spend a certain amount of money. Mm-hmm. So like read 5, spend 30, read 4, spend 20, something like that. So I did last month, read 5, spend 30. And then for every 5 books I read, I get $30 to put towards like a book shopping fund for the end of the month.
Yeah.
So in January, I don't know what was going on at the beginning of the year, but I read 15 books last month. I read 15. And that gave me like $90 to spend, and I don't have $90. So I spent $60, and I went to Second and Charles, and I got a whole bunch of books. So February, I will add those to the list of books that I'm going to go look for when I spend my February fund.
Yeah.
Because,
see, my issue is I have like 3 shelves of unread books.
Yeah. See, I'm also doing this thing like my little like TBR challenge where I make my mom choose a number between 1 and then how many ever books I have. Mm-hmm. And right now we're at like 212 on my shelf that are unread of 300 something.
Yeah.
So,
see,
Sera.
I refuse to count. Not only do I have a book buying problem, because 90% of the books I buy, I'm buying them used. So I'm not like paying full price for it. So I'll be like, well, since I got this book for $3, I can go ahead and get 5 more.
Right. It's giving sound logic.
Like, that makes sense.
Bookish math.
Bookish girl math. And then, like, that's my library stack. Like, that's an issue. That's not all of them. Right.
Girl. Please, I just got a library card. I got 2. Okay, so I have, because the town that I live in is kind of like, I live like on the border of 2 towns. So I essentially can get like, I got cards for both of them. And then I also just got that Queer Liberation Library card. Mm-hmm.
Well, what's that one?
So it's basically this library that's nationwide for Libby, for ebooks, called Queer Liberation. Yep, go ahead, look it up.
Right.
Queer Liberation Library, and it's just free. Anybody in the nation can join. It's free.
I will be getting one tonight. Trust.
Mm-hmm. Trust. So you go ahead. But I got that one. My problem is I don't like to wait. I'm a mood reader, okay?
Girl.
So with Libby, I'm sitting here like, this ain't available now. So I put it on a list, but I may forget about it, you know? And then also, when I own a book, I like to own a book.
Yeah.
Right? I like to own it. But, so I'm like using my library cards to like replace my ebooks. Because you know when I like I don't buy ebooks. I just download them from KU, or I get like ARCs from NetGalley. But I don't like to have just like ebooks sitting on my phone or on my Kindle that I like bought.
Right.
So if I have some ebooks on my phone, I'm like, let me go see if the library has it, and then I'll get them from the library and go from there.
Yeah.
But I don't have a stack that big, girl. There's no judgment.
We're not even about to take a glance at my Libby. See, my toxic trait is that I will literally treat Libby like Instagram. So it's the middle of the night. It's 3 a.m. and I'm just scrolling. I'm just like, oh, that looks interesting. Let me check that one out. Oh, that looks interesting. Oh, put that one on hold. Like,
do you ever read all of the books that you borrow? Do you read them all before you return them, or do you have to return some that you don't read?
Also, I renew a lot of books. I'm gonna read this book before I leave the house.
I'm crying. Ooh,
I don't get into a lot of trouble about it because I am friends with all of my local librarians. Girl, it's so humiliating when I have to pick up holds because, like, I have no filter and I will put on hold 7 different books.
I'm crying. And then she walks in and she said, hey, how y'all doing?
I'm telling you, the other day I had crochet club and I got my holds and then I made the mistake of looking around the library.
Girl.
So I checked out my holds and then I looked around the library and I came back and checked out again with the same librarian and she was trying so hard not to judge me.
Rookie move. Rookie move.
I came back and said, hey, I'm just gonna get these 2.
Just slide it across.
Thank you so much.
He said, please don't look me in the eye. Just check me out.
It's too humiliating. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I need to go to the library like sometime this week. I've been filming content all week long, but I have not had time to like read anything really, except for the way I zoomed through this one. Oh my god.
You literally did, like, y'all, I'm telling y'all, Sera texted, oh yeah, I'm 150 pages into it. What? I haven't even started, queen. And then I was like, okay, I'm 150 pages in now. Sera was like, oh yeah, I finished.
Listen. I've only done one other buddy read other than my one with yours. And then I tried to do one when I first joined Book Talk with my friend who doesn't really read a lot. And she got mad at me. It like ended our friendship because I like got the book and I finished it in like 2 days. And she was like, this is supposed to be a buddy read. We're supposed to read together. And I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't even know I read this fast. I don't know what happened.
Like, this is my second buddy read also. Is it? I think it is. No, my third buddy read. The first one was with this girl named Hannah. This was one of my very first Bookstagram friends. And we read the last book to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. Both of us were petrified, bro. Like, book 3 to that series. Book 3 to that series, I was like, okay, good night, girl. I hope you enjoyed the book as much as I did. I'm gonna leave my light on tonight. Like, it was so terrifying to read.
Wait, I'm trying to get into my, like, thriller horror girl era, and I'm starting off with YA thriller and horror, because I feel like if it's for kids, you know, maybe I should be, like, okay with it.
Well, actually, I don't know, girly, because I've read a lot of kids' books, and they're almost more scary than adults.
Oh.
Like Coraline, one of the most terrifying ever read.
I was just telling my friends today, Finding Nemo is my version of a horror movie. I'm terrified of Finding Nemo. I don't know what to tell you. Like, what? I'm terrified. I hate it. I hate that movie so much.
And people just like, did you go through that era of school? Since we're both Southern girls, you may have gone through this, where they forced us to watch Goosebumps movies
all the time.
What was that about?
Did you ever like sit in those like did they ever make like 2 rows of chairs and give you like a styrofoam cup of like hot chocolate and pajamas to watch the Polar Express?
When we watched, what was that movie called? The Polar Express or something like that. just randomly on a Tuesday. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, they're like, guys, tomorrow's pajama day, and you're like, okay, put on your pajamas. They have like plastic chairs set up in 2 rows. I'm like, this is the worst way to watch a movie.
And then they're like, oh, we're gonna have hot chocolate too, and it's a shot glass, pretty much.
And it's like watered down.
I'm like, what are we going through?
Like,
and I asked my little cousins, do they still do that? And they were like, no. I was like, what?
Honestly, the kids are missing out.
Y'all are missing, like, that was an era.
That was an essential part of my, like, development of my frontal lobe, exactly. I think. Like,
that was, like,
you know,
key to growing up.
Integral, really. It was, like, the moment that I was like, wow, this was a big part of my childhood.
You're like, you know what? Life is good, man. I don't know.
I think I like this little life. Listen, growing up in the South, you know, it's a lot. But my cousins grew up in New York, and like they never did these things in elementary school. I will say, Southern people, they're creative.
Man, we've got some code. Oh my God, I'm remembering my second buddy Reid. Not a happy experience, bro. I read with this girl on Bookstagram again. Her name was Olivia Says _Olivia Says. And we read The Grey Believers by Rebecca Makkai.
Isn't that like a... What else does Rebecca Makkai write?
She writes like literary fiction, like very sad literary fiction.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And my sister has 4K footage of me like falling over the bed sobbing from this book. It was so heartbreaking. The last 5 chapters just absolutely rip your heart out of your chest. Like, Rebecca Makkai was not playing no games.
I'm gonna let you know right now, Lani. I don't read sad books. You know, I run away from emotion if I can. This was a lot. And there was nothing in it. It was just a lot because I loved Raul so much. The emotion that I have, the happy emotion I have about Raul, that was a lot. I was like,
no thanks. No thanks.
It was a lot. Even reading the synopsis and just seeing his name, I'm like, my man.
Please. No, that book was a lot for me because Jasmine literally drove me insane. Like, I'm like,
Jasmine?
What's happening?
Have you ever read Magnolia Parks?
No.
Okay, listen. I'll never, ever reread the Magnolia Parks series, ever. And I've also decided that I'm not going to read this last one. And it's not because the series is bad in any way, shape, or form. Like, I think it's genius writing. I think she does what she needs to do. Her audience, like, enjoys it. Mm-hmm. That series is so toxic.
That's what I've heard.
It's like a toxic relationship. I'll never reread it again, and I won't be continuing, but it was also the best and worst time of my life. Like, I've never been so invested in a book. But the main character, Magnolia, she's another person where it's like, I feel for you, but I never want to be your friend.
Like I couldn't do it personally, Queen. I do love you, though.
All the love ya, but literally stay so far away.
Literally
like,
from a distance, from over here.
Yeah. That's how I feel about Magnolia. I'm like, you're fine, probably as a human, but I don't want you in my space. And that's how I felt about Jasmine. Where I'm like, Jasmine. And all her friends who kept being like, you're a great friend. If y'all don't stop coddling this girl, tell her
like,
what
no,
she's
not
wrong.
I'm like, y'all don't know her though. I'm confused a little bit, but I'm having a grand time.
I literally was like, I'm a little confuzzled, but I'm really here for Raul, so I'm just gonna wait till his POV comes.
Right, like, so we're just gonna keep on pushing through this.
Yeah, but I was like scanning Jasmine's POVs. I was like, and I didn't realize I didn't know anything about her until the end of the book. And then I was like, I know nothing.
Literally me. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Every other page for Jasmine's point of view, I'm like, let's go ahead and skip that. Because I'm not trying to hear none of that, girl. Let's go right on back to Raul. Because this is not it.
Now, would I recommend this book? 100%.
100%.
Slayed.
Like,
it's laid. Jasmine, though, did not slay, in my opinion.
We just didn't know her. Like, that's how I kind of felt about the Great Believers, where it's like, I love you, girly, but I could not be y'all's friend. Because so it's like following them at the height of the AIDS epidemic. So, like, there was like some cheating going on in their relationships and stuff like that, and it made it more dangerous. So you're like, you know that it's about to be very sad, but you can't stop reading.
Hearing you talk about it, never read the book in my life, don't even know really 100% what it's about, but hearing you talk about how much emotion is in it is literally making me have an asthma attack.
Sera, like, if I find this footage of me crying like this, bro, I'm gonna send it to you. Because when I say sobbing, like, I could barely catch my breath.
Listen, I'm not a crier. Like, this is really a lot to unpack with my therapist, but I'm not a crier, okay? Like, I don't cry. When I start to cry, 1 or 2 tears will, like, drop down, and then I'll yawn and go to sleep. That's it. And I think it's because when I was younger, I used to cry, like, all the time. But, you know, Southern black moms are like, are you done?
Like, your dad be like, depress them dishes. I'm not trying to hear that. Sorry.
Yeah. So I would just cry, and then I would fall asleep. And usually the stuff I was crying over was not things to cry over. Like, well, it was. I'm a kid, but it's not like, you know, like world ending. It was like my brother ate the last piece of pizza, and I'm like, you are an awful person. So now I think I carried that along. So now I don't cry ever. So I was telling my therapist, I was like, girl, I want to cry more. I want to cry more. So I told her that I was going to go on my book talk and ask. I said, hey, everybody, give me the saddest books you've ever read so that I can cry. And my therapist was like, don't do that.
See, I'm like an extreme empath. Like, I'll be like...
Me too. But I'm like that to where I avoid it. So I don't cry. Like, if I see something, I'm like,
See, I'm like the opposite. Like, if I don't let it out, I will literally get sick. Like, I will literally throw up or something. I can't explain it, but like, if I don't let myself feel whatever I feel, I will go in the bathroom and throw up.
You and me you and I, both empaths, but on the completely opposite side of the spectrum.
Completely opposite spectrum.
No, but the problem is I love sad music. Like, I love sad music. I think it's just some of the like most beautiful music. But like, sad movies, sad TV shows. I don't even watch the last episode of TV shows. Like, I'll binge them all the way through multiple times, and I have not seen the last episode of Grimm. I have not seen the last episode of of Once Upon a Time. I haven't seen the last episode. The kids these days don't have the level of like TV and film.
Their TV is not quality, bro.
It's just not. I saw this like other podcaster that was saying that Nickelodeon used to make shows for families, like, so where like the kid could be watching it in the living room, and then the mom could be in the kitchen and also like still interact with the show, like Drake and Josh and Victorious and like That's a Raven. Like, they were for everyone. They were funny.
Yeah.
And now they just make stuff for kids, so it's just like explosions and like everyone looks like they're on drugs, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, where's the storyline?
Where's the storyline? Where's the plot? Bro, Casey Undercover, shows like that back in the day. Oh my god, y'all. Like,
Casey Undercover was one of the last ones. It was one of the last good ones.
Were you like forced to watch PBS Kids as you grew up?
Yeah, but I don't remember them as much unless I see clips of it, and then I'm like, whoa, who pulled that memory? Literally, I just snatched the memory out of my brain. I'm like, what is that? Like, somebody the other day, this isn't even PBS Kids. It was what was the kids Disney? Like the little kids. Disney Junior. It was like that one where she's like, Soul Train. Oh, the train. I
forgot about that show. Just hearing that song just made me remember so many memories. What?
Someone on TikTok posted a clip, and I was like, my whole house is just gonna be like, it's gonna look like a shrine to like back in the day, because that's my favorite music. Like, every time I get in the car with people, I play early 2000s, like 2010s music.
My beige flag, girl, is that I literally play music from the 1950s. Like, all the time. Oh my god.
Got me snorting. If I could have literally guessed any year, 1950s, would not have
Bro,
come
like,
out.
it's so random for me.
Like, okay, please tell me a song. Give me a song.
Like,
what is a 1950s song even?
girl,
Like Etta James?
Curtis Mayfield, all of his stuff, gas. Like, Etta James, first of all, why you joking? Etta James is really Etta James is really good.
Listen, I have a playlist that is called Back in My Day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some Etta James on there. Let me see what's on there.
I have like Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday. Like, I think that's also another reason why I'm obsessed with A Love Song for Ricki Wilde so far into the book, because like he works a lot with those musicians from that time period. It's so good, bro. It's so good. Recently, I've actually been getting into modern jazz, where it's like some recent jazz singers like Samara Joy. I met her in person. Literally the sweetest woman ever. I have all of
My
her.
dad loves jazz music.
Let me see.
My dad loves jazz music. Are those records?
Yes.
Of course you have records.
Listen. Listen. Okay, guys. Now we're going to give y'all some book recommendations.
Anyways, welcome back to our bookish podcast. All right. Book recommendations.
Oh, starting with The Roommate Risk. We talked a little bit about that one, but this is pretty much a friends to lovers book that follows Jasmine and Raul. They're like best friends, but something happens to Jasmine's apartment and she has to go stay at Raul's apartment. So it's kind of like a roommate's forced proximity, friends to lovers, and there's past and present timelines.
Like, as we've said, we don't love Jasmine. She's okay. But Raul, like,
You want
Raul's
boy
like,
obsessed? He served boy obsessed.
he served. I have never, like, read his thoughts when he's thinking about Jasmine and looking at Jasmine and talking about Jasmine to, like, it was poetry. If a man ever talks about me like that, marriage. Right on the spot.
Like, what are we? What are we?
Let's have the talk right now, actually, because like, the way he talked, the way he loved her was like insane.
Yeah, he loved her so
like,
deeply.
Sorry, my mom just gave me some book mail.
Not Sarah Lily getting book mail in the middle of this after talking about her book buying problem. Oh my god.
Okay, I didn't buy this though. I got sent this.
Unbox it, Queen. We want to see.
Oh, it's from Forever Publishing.
Ooh. Ooh.
The Next Best Fling by Gabriela Jimenez. This one is like, oh my god, okay, I talked about this in my, because I have the ebook version and they sent me a physical, which is very nice. But it's basically like this girl, she's in love with her best friend, which is this guy's little brother, right? And then her best friend ends up getting engaged, and her best friend's older brother, this guy, is like in love with his little brother's fiance.
Wait! This was like so much drama?
And so he wants to tell his brother's fiance that he's in love with her at the engagement party. And she wants to tell her best friend that she's in love with him at the engagement party. But they both stop each other. They're like, hey, we can't do this to them. Like, that's messed up. So then they start a little fling with each other. And the series is called Librarians in Love.
Stop right now.
And I think he's an ex-NFL player and she's a librarian.
Oh my god. That sounds so good.
Right?
What would you rate The Roommate Risk?
I would give it 4 because it did what I needed it to do, you know? Like, I had a good time.
Same.
For Raul. I'm obsessed with him. I literally can't. Like, his story, his spice, and like
his backstory was so well developed. Like, if Jasmine's
Raul
backstory was like that, I probably would have rated it as high as you did. I gave it 3 because when I say Jasmine worked my ever-loving nerve.
Yeah, Jasmine worked my nerve. Like, I would have given it 5. Like, I just love Raul so much. Like, I can't, like, yeah. But 3, justified. Yeah. I'm more of like, did I have a good time?
I read a lot of nonfiction and classics. Like, no, I have to be a literary icon. I have to be an academic weapon at all times.
I said I have to be.
I have to be. It's no choice. If you're not that type of person, read it as like a little palate cleanser.
Yeah, if you're the kind of person who's like, oh, I want something fun and sexy and just like, then this is it.
For sure, for sure. I also felt like she was also the same kind of closed off as she was with Raul, with her other friends. And I think it'd be different if we were like, we saw like Jasmine with her guard down around her friends. And around Raul, it was like she kind of had her guard up because he's a guy and she has feelings for him and that kind of thing. I would have liked it more. But it's like, girl, what's going on? Why are you treating everybody like that?
She only keeps her guard, like, down a little bit with her dad. But I feel like even her relationship with her dad wasn't really, like,
fully fleshed
pushed out enough.
Yes.
Like, he's rich, but, like, how did he get rich? They're like, oh, we used to be poor, but now we're rich, okay?
Yeah, or, like, and then it was like her mom left. Never fully discussed, like, why did mom leave? Oh,
and her mom leaving is literally like the whole reason she is as insufferable as she is. Like, literally, it's a big portion of her character arc.
The reason why, and it was not talked about at all. Like, why did mom leave? Man, she just left, bro. I don't even know what to tell you.
And I was like, please. I think I literally gave it less than 5 stars in terms of like good time, not a long time kind of vibe, because the ending, like Raul, it feels like every single thing of character development that he talked about in the last like 10% of the book that he was going to do while like they were in their 3rd act breakup just disappeared. Like as soon as she came back, he just like
it was 2 chapters. It was 2 chapters. She's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, okay, you moving back in with me or what? Like, I don't know. Are we married now? And you're like, Rob.
And I was like, what happened to Ben? Your poor little running partner. We were moving up.
Like, what happened to Ben? What happened to her groveling? What happened to her, you not indulging yourself in this relationship so much and letting her show you that she also loves you? Like, what happened to all that? Oh.
It just wasn't. It simply wasn't. You know what I would have liked? I would have liked to see them in the end, like in the epilogue. Usually I like epilogues that show them as a family. Like, I enjoy that. But this one, I didn't really love, because we didn't really know his sister and his nieces and stuff, like, really, so it didn't really make much sense. I would have loved if the epilogue was, like, them in, like, couples counseling or something.
Yeah, you know? I literally read 2 pages of that epilogue, and I was like, no.
It was a long epilogue, too. I was like,
And I was like, is that literally it? I was upset during the epilogue, so I stopped reading it, because I was like, is that literally it? Like, Jasmine's not going to grovel at all?
I think I'm going to lower my rating, actually. Now that we're talking this through.
Seriously, maybe I got ahead of myself. Wait.
Yeah, I'm bringing it down to a 4.
It was definitely a fun time, though. Like, especially if you're looking for, like, a quick read, something you could read in a day or two, definitely read that book. So, we're going to do, I recommend a book, then Sera recommends a book, and then I recommend a book, and Sera recommends a book. I can keep going. Terror out of Rex. Okay. My first recommendation is obviously Real by Kenny Ryan. If you watch my YouTube channel frequently or listen to my podcast, you're literally holding a gun up to my head and telling me to shut up about this book. Like, I don't stop talking about it. But this is like a forbidden romance. The female main character has a chronic illness. She has lupus. Like, and it was so well done. My mom has lupus, so... And I've lived through my entire life with her having it, so I can 100% tell you that it was extremely well written in this book. And my mom is the one who actually recommended it to me because of the way that Kenny Ryan wrote lupus in this book. But it's a forbidden romance between an actress and a film director. Ooh. Girl! And it has, like, Broadway scenes and, like, obviously movie filming scenes. It's between Neva and Cannon Holt, y'all.
Me looking for it on my phone.
As you should, Queen. I'm telling y'all, soulmateism romance, bro.
My first one, which this is another one where people are probably holding a gun to my head, being like, Sera, shut up. And I'm like, no.
Like, you can't silence me. Oh my god, Sera does talk about that all the time.
Nikki Chambers Shakes It Up by Cherish. Reid. I'll never stop. I won't even stop when I'm in the grave, because I'll take this book with me to the grave, and then I'll just haunt you guys with it. I love this book! Okay, listen. I'm not a big age gap girly, like age gap book kind of girl, because I feel like age gaps nowadays are getting, like, there's a gap in age, yes, but there's also a gap in like development. Like, you get the same feel of like the age gapness from her being like of age. Like, why is she 17 and he's 45? Why? Anyways, so yeah, so I was like, when I found that this was age gap, I was like, but I like to call this one tasteful because she's 33 and he's 42. So this one's so good because it's not only, it does everything so well. Like, it does age gap so well. It also does like power imbalance, where the power imbalance is like kind of equal, where she is his professor and his employee, and he is her boss and her student. It is just like so.
Me adding it to my Goodreads as soon as possible, bro. Like,
It's so good. It also has chronic illness. She has hyperthyroidism, so that one's in here as well. And Diego's wife just died, like 5 years ago, and she told him like, I want you to go back to school. Like, I need you to go back to school because he like left school to like take care of like his like mom and stuff and his wife. So then he was like, I want you to go back to school. So he goes back to school at the age of 42, and Mickey is his adjunct professor. And Mickey feels like she like lost a big portion of her life when she got diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. So she's like having a little midlife crisis. So she decides to take on a part-time job working at Diego's bar as like a bartender kind of vibe. And they just fall in love. And when I tell you, this is another one where like the spicy scenes were just so well done that I was like, this is fantastic. Like, there's one scene where he's literally like doing his thing with his mouth on her.
doing his thing.
And she's like babbling because she's nervous. And he goes, I'm sorry, I can't. He goes, I'm sorry, I can't talk while I'm eating. And I literally was like, ah! It's so good. Me and my friends are always like, let Diego eat. Let him eat. Because it's just so, it's so good. It was so good. It was so good. It was so good. And she like, Cherish handled Diego's like being a widow and grief so well. And it was just, guys, please, I beg. I literally beg. I love this book. Oh, and it's based in Georgia. So she's a little southern black girl, which we love. And Diego is Puerto Rican.
Obsessed with that. I literally slapped the TV red. Proof. Proof. Like, it sounds so good. Oh my god. Another book that y'all were like, girl, cut it out, bro. Cut it out. Like, shut up, dog. Shut up. A Sweet Lowcountry Proposal by Preslaysa Williams.
I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this.
Where is the hype at for this? Literally, when I told you earlier that my toxic trait is scrolling on Libby and checking out stuff like this is Instagram or something, like you're just on here, like this is social media. I checked out this book randomly one night, binged it in a single day, bro. This is a second chance romance, single parent, because she's the guardian of her niece after her sister died. It's second chance romance between Jaslyn and Marcus, and they're both like 40 years old and they were about to get married before Jaslyn's sister died and she had to be the parent of her niece. And Jaslyn is a wedding coordinator and he works at the local Black History Museum that's about to close down. And she's planning a wedding that's taking place at the museum and helping him raise funds to like keep the museum open and all of that. It's just so good. It's so cute. Like, I can't. Like, when I tell you there's a scene where he like gets out the car and picks wildflowers for her because they're her favorite flowers.
Charleston, South Carolina. We love our southern books.
Like, apparently.
We love our little southern books.
It's so good. I literally just stumbled upon that book. Like, had never heard about it before.
This is another one. Guys, listen. I am who I am. I will never change.
This is just me and Sarah recommending our favorite romance at this point.
Pride and Protest by Nikki Payne. I'm sorry. I won't shut up. I'll never shut up. You can't pay me enough money to shut up about this book. I love it. You read the classics, Lani. I don't. I'm not a classics reader. I'm not a classic reader, okay? I've never read Pride and Prejudice. I've never read it. I didn't really care much about it. And then I read this book, okay? Pride and Prejudice retelling. She's black. He's Filipino. He's coming to, like, build, like, a gentrify, I guess, her town in DC. And she's like a little DJ who's like, no, we're trying to fight the power. I literally went and watched every Pride and Prejudice available. I now have 4 copies of Pride and Prejudice. I still have not read Pride and Prejudice. I just feel like I love it because I love this book so extremely much. It literally was so good. Nikki also just wrote another one that comes out next week. It's called Sex, Lies, and Sensibility, which is a Sense and Sensibility
Oh
retelling.
yeah, I saw
And
that one.
the guy is Abenaki, like from Maine, and then the girl is black. It's so good. Please. Wait. Oh my god.
So, okay, I'm gonna tell you the few reasons why I like this. First of all, this is a Friends to Lovers, best Friends to Lovers I've ever read in my entire life. Like, nothing has beat this book. This one follows Dani and Zafir, obviously, and Zafir has anxiety. He's an ex-rugby player, but now he runs this nonprofit where he's, like, helping little guys and, like, teenagers dismantle their inner toxic masculinity. And he's like a spokesperson for mental health, and him and Dani start fake dating when a video of them goes viral, and they realize that he's like this ex-famous rugby player. So they get invited to like radio shows and stuff like that so Zafir can grow his nonprofit, and he's been obsessed with Dani for years. So obviously, and he reads romance books. It's so good. It's literally the cutest thing I've ever read.
Why did I literally just borrowed
I
it
should
from
clean.
the
I should.
library. I've literally downloaded all 3 of the books that you have just all of them.
And this one also, what I was about to say about Dani. Dani is a English teacher, but she's also like a scientist of sorts, where she does panels and research with these very popular women in Britain. The audiobook is fire. Hearing Zafir, hearing his voice, is crazy. Oh, speaking of, we talked about earlier where you have 2 library cards. At least yours is legal. I don't know if mine's illegal.
I'm crying. Not you exposing yourself.
So actually, the government, if you're watching this, go ahead and click off for a sec.
Not you telling the government to log off.
I have a library card in the city that I live in, and then I have a library card in New Orleans.
Girl.
Because my daddy's friend lives there. So technically I live there, you know what I mean? Like,
my next 2 books are queer. So we have The Water Outlaws by S.L. Huang. And this is such an interesting book because you know the kung fu movies and how they're like dramatic and stuff. This is like a feminist queer kung fu movie, but like in a book form, okay? And like the author literally, she wrote it after this one book called, hold on, it's a retelling of a book. I don't know what it's called. I'll figure it out later. Anyways, oh, here it is. Inspired by a classic. No, I don't know what it is. Doesn't matter. Anyways, it's really good. It's queer. It's feminist. It's like in the way they describe people from different queer communities. Like they describe people who are trans as people who ride the 16 winds, like not choosing one gender or the other, just kind of existing between them and like living their life however they want to. This book is disturbing. It is disturbing content, okay? As in, like, we're celebrating women's rights, but we are also celebrating women's wrongs. As in, like, a girl's been wronged by men, and now she's gonna go and kill them. So it's about, like, this ragtag band of misfits who, like, come together. Like, there's a bunch of women and people throughout the nation who have been wronged by the empire, and they come together and they build this like bandit compound kind of place where they can all like celebrate each other, and like they steal from the rich and like feed the poor and all those things. So it's like a bunch of people from all throughout like the nation who have been wronged by people. So but the things that they have done are like, there's one group of people who used to own a I forgot what it's called, but some kind of like dark tavern. And they used to invite people in, kill the people, and cook them. I told you, but it's weird because it's weird because the way it's talked about, they're like, we don't turn anyone away. We think anyone is like capable of change. Like they used to eat like people who come to their tavern, but now they're here. But it basically just talks about like finding yourself, and like it talks about like misogyny and a lot, and like just feminist power. I like to think of this book as if women were able to do the things that white men do and get away with it. That's what it is. It was written like a kung fu movie, and it just had some like really beautiful lines in it, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
Literally just sent it to my Kindle. God bless. Like, immediately.
And the cover is just so pretty.
It is. Like, that is stunning. I may need to go find that at a used bookstore.
I loved it. My friend got it for me for Christmas, and I was like, ah. So I really like it. But that was good. All right, your turn.
Okay. Once again, a book that I literally already screamed at Sera to read. The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa. This is a 5-book series. Books 1, 2, and 4 were my favorite. Like, 5-star bangers. This book is the first book to the series of Bromance Book Club, and it follows Gavin and Thea. It's a marriage in trouble. Not necessarily second chance romance, but it's marriage in trouble. They have 2 daughters, and they're trying to co-parent and repair their relationship. And Gavin is actually new to the Bromance Book Club, so this is like the whole introduction to the premise of the book club, which is obviously a group of men coming together to read romance books to repair their romantic relationships and dismantle their inner toxic masculinity. It's so good. It's so good. And I put this on here because Gavin has a stutter. And I've never seen that before, where one of the characters has a stutter and you could see it in the book. So I'm obsessed with this whole series though. Like I said, book 1 is one of my favorites. I think I gave this one 4.5. Book 2, I gave, what is book 2? 5 stars. 5 stars. This is another book I found by miscellaneously scrolling through Libby. Like, this is Twitter. You need to snatch that up next time you see it, Sarah. I'm not playing no games right now.
The threatening tone.
Sarah, I'm telling you right now.
The threatening tone. She said,
I'm not playing no games right now.
Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Everyone, this is another book that I talk about quite frequently. I also have the special edition that has them on the cover. Are you kidding me? I'm obsessed. Okay. Anyways, this book is a reverse age gap. Which I don't like the term reverse age gap, because why is it reverse? Just because she's older and no, it's still an age gap. Her life is like in the shitter. She's still living with her ex-husband because he like won't move out the house, or her ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, something like that. Anyways, so her car like breaks down in this guy's like little small town. And then her and the guy, it's Alexis and Daniel, and they just like fall in love with each other, and it's so cute and fun. And Daniel, this is the first time, I'm not gonna spoil it, but this is the first time where I saw a guy like cry. Like, I felt the actual emotion. I think this might be the last time I cried in a book. Like, I felt the emotion. Please. I need y'all to read this, okay? Because Daniel Grant is my man. He is so down bad for her. He's sweet. He's adorable. He owns a bed and breakfast, but he's also the mayor, but he's also the carpenter. And he also is like, he has all these things. He has a little pet goat. He has a dog.